arrests have been made in Beaufort recently, 2 for vehicle theft and 2 for home burglary. A local 14-month-old suffers serious burns in his own home. And we're gearing up for the 58th annual Beaufort Water Festival. We have all those details. So all that and much more. Keep watching Beaufort. Your news starts now. Two men have been arrested in connection with vehicle break-ins in Beaufort recently. After residents reported seeing 2 men in a suspicious vehicle in the Pigeon Point area, police tracked down the vehicle and discovered stolen property. Michael Hicks, 19, of Beaufort, was arrested for conspiracy and breaking into a motor vehicle. Sean Steck, also 19, of Ladies Island, was charged with conspiracy and an open container. Hicks and Steck have since been released. Earlier this week, extreme summer heat caused a 14-month-old to suffer first and second-degree burns. Brady Duffner suffered the burns to his hands and face after touching the front metal door of the family's home. His mother, Amberly Duffner, took her son to the emergency room, then reported the incident to military housing officials. The doorknob was tested and found to be 163 degrees from sun exposure. The state of South Carolina has appealed a state Supreme Court decision to overturn the conviction of a Beaufort woman this week. Paris Avery was expected to get out of jail this week after she was sentenced for homicide by child abuse. The sentence came after toxicology reports showed her 15-month-old son died of an overdose of eczema medication. Avery will stay behind bars for another 2 months before next steps are decided. You may have noticed construction barriers and cones are being placed on US 21 as crews are beginning the Albergotti Creek Bridge replacement project. The construction will likely cause some major traffic jams, but is a much-needed improvement. According to AAA, the 62-year-old bridge is in poor physical condition and cannot currently handle the amount of traffic it demands. During the construction, please be cautious as the speed limit will be reduced to 35 miles per hour. The project is expected to take 2 years to complete. Talks are underway at the City of Beaufort on ways to implement more regulation at Beaufort's waterfront park. The City Council is looking at ways to regulate things like grilling, balloons, and even dog leashes to keep all of the city's parks clean and safe. Ideas include things like shortening the length of allowable dog leashes and having people register to throw parties or grill. Parties and activities would have a small deposit, but officials have not yet set a dollar amount. If you'd like additional information on these headlines, please reference the media sources you see listed on your screen. Also, you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Coming up, we'll check in with Leslie Brown to see what's hot off the press, and Jaime Dailey-Vergara of the Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce brings us our business report. That's next.
Lowcountry Real Estate is located in historic downtown Beaufort, home to one of the most attractive real estate markets in America. We've been providing high-quality service to our community for the past 24 years. Whether you're interested in buying or selling residential, resort, or commercial investment property, our professional sales staff can help you with your real estate needs. Please visit lowcountryrealestate.com for details on all available properties in Beaufort, and come see how the Lowcountry becomes you.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Joining us first is Leslie Brown, who brings us our hot off the press report. Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining us. Now I want to talk about what the sailing club is teaching youngsters. I know they're learning some basics, so talk to us about that if you would.
Well, the South Carolina Yacht Club has a summer junior sailing program every summer, and this program allows children from ages 6 to 17 to learn sailing and learn the basics of sailing. And there's one camp in particular called the Learn to Sail camp, and they learn the basics of sailing, such as unrigging and rigging a boat, learning the rules of the road on the water, and just different things that they need to know to sail.
Perfect. And for viewers who are watching who want to sign their children up, how can they go about doing that?
Well, they can go to scyachtclub.com, and there are actually different camps besides just the Learn to Sail camp. There's a Guppies program for children ages 6 and 7, and then there's an intermediate program, there's a racing program, and the next date for the next current date is actually July 29th. The most recent one just started July 15th, so they can go to that website and find out more information.
All right, and now in another story, I know there's a sinkhole in Beaufort's waterfront park, and it is under repair, is that right?
Yes.
So talk to us about what's going on with that.
Well, more than 2 months ago, an old storm drain collapsed, which created a sinkhole at the waterfront park. So to fix this, they filled the hole with fabric, followed by 2 to 3 feet of granite. Then they put cement, sand, and water. And this mixture should help prevent future sinkholes because it filled in all the crooks and nannies of the hole.
Okay, perfect. And what about the water festival that's coming up? Is this going to affect that?
Well, no, it was actually only a one-day repair project. So the water festival is July 19th to July 28th. So everything should be ready by the time the water festival comes because they roped off the area so that, you know, the cement and stuff can dry and so that everything can set and be ready. So by the time the water festival comes, everything should be perfect.
All right, good. Just in time so that we can enjoy that festival. So Leslie Brown, thank you so very much for your hot off the press report. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Jaime Dailey-Vergara, who joins us from the Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce for our business report. Welcome, Jaime.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Jaime, talk to us a little bit about what the Chamber is doing to foster economic development. I know that recently EcoDual has been a huge topic of conversation in the area, so it brings up the question what the Chamber is doing, you know, with economic development. Talk to us about that.
Well, certainly economic development is certainly a top priority for the Chamber. Just last week, we hosted an economic roundtable with Larry Hughes from the Don Ryan Center for Innovation. Hugh shared some information about the center as well as the hybrid internet consultant program for our region. This drew a great crowd as well as kind of bringing everyone to the table from both sides of the river to talk about economic development.
Okay, good to know. And on another topic, recently or over the past several years actually, Beaufort has been the backdrop for a lot of major motion pictures. Is there another one on the horizon? Tell us about this.
Well, that's right. Lights, camera, action. We are all very excited. Just recently, there was a press release. According to the press release, the Dream Coast Films is planning to film Route 65 Nashville in Beaufort this August and September, which features really an all-star cast. They also plan on featuring My Brother, Your Outlaw, the Waylon Jennings story here in Beaufort in January. And of course, this is something we've all really been waiting for quite some time. It took everyone really kind of pulling together, including the Beaufort Film Festival, and the Film Society has really been pulling for this, the Chamber. Lots of people in this community have been pulling together to help get that film rebate bill passed. Just a few months ago, we got it passed, and now we're really seeing the fruits of our labor. Everyone is really excited and hopeful that this is going to bring back all the films here back to Beaufort.
Okay, well that is definitely some exciting news. And on another note, I know that the Chamber of Commerce has had so many events going on. So talk to me about what some of our viewers could possibly get involved in if they're interested.
Well, that's right. We certainly have lots of things going on. On July 19th, there will be a coffee with colleagues at the Sonic Drive-In here in Beaufort from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. And this is really a great free networking opportunity. We invite everyone to come and join in and really kind of meet new friends and network. There's also on August the 1st, we are having the Beaufort Networking from 8:30 to 9:30 at the Hilton Garden Inn here in Beaufort. Donnie Beer and Richard Rooney will be talking about the Healing Heroes of the Lowcountry Fund. This is really a great opportunity to come out, learn about this new fund, and really just get involved with the Chamber. We also, of course, encourage everyone to come out for the Beaufort Water Festival, which kicks off this Friday. Such a great pillar event here in Beaufort, and we're all so excited about it and seeing what this will all bring for the summer.
Okay, Jaime, that's what we like to hear, all good news. So thank you so much for your business report. When we return, we're going to bring you lots of Water Festival news as we talk to Commodore Dan Thompson, and he brings us his plans for the big event. And in our Out and About report, we'll tell you what you don't want to miss during the festival's first few days. So stay right there.
Allison Ramsey Architects believes that good design is a result of a collaborative effort between the architect, the builder, and most importantly, the client. The Lowcountry lifestyle incorporates all aspects of the home. and good design reflects the character of a family. No longer items of luxury, good design is standard. Let us help you craft a home built with everyday living in mind. Allison Ramsey Architects, creating sustainable, timeless design.
As we gear up for celebrations at the Beaufort Water Festival, the 58th Water Festival Commodore Dan Thompson plans for this big event. We caught up with him to get his thoughts. I'm standing here with Dan Thompson, who is the 2013 Commodore for the Water Festival. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So this has become such a popular festival. I know people come from all over to attend the Water Festival. Why do you think it's gotten to be such a great event?
Well, one of the things is a beautiful venue. I mean, just take a look around. This is a great place to come visit.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the venue. We're standing in Henry C. Chambers Waterfront Park. Why was this venue specifically chosen?
Mostly because of the view, and as you can tell now, the beautiful breeze. It tends to keep things a little cooler. And just on a little bit of a side note, too, Henry C. Chambers is actually going to be the Grand Marshal in our parade this year.
Okay, great. That's wonderful to know. And now I want to talk to you a little bit about the volunteers. I know there's over 400 volunteers that make this event happen, as well as sponsors. So talk to me a little bit about the dedication of the people involved.
Well, there's a dedication. You really have to be committed to giving back to the community, to get involved in something this big. People give what they have time for. We have people that come for a couple hours. We get a lot of military help, which is great. Support from all three bases. We have people that come down here, work a couple of days, and then they go back to their regular jobs because they're working during the week. We have people here, believe it or not, that people come and take their vacation time to actually volunteer down here at the waterfront.
Wow, wonderful. And how do these people become volunteers? Is there a certain process that they go through?
No, really just pretty much be willing to work hard and have a good time.
Absolutely. And do you have any favorite events that you're looking forward to this year?
Yeah. Well, for me, the Water Festival and in general is usually about children. So children's events like Kids Day, toad fishing is a great event. Some people would argue that that's the best event in the Water Festival. The kids are really the main focus for me, but another great event we're incorporating this year is dragon boat racing.
Absolutely. I've heard that's going to be a good one. And I want to ask you, too, what do you think is the best part about being Commodore?
Well, the best thing about being Commodore is at the end of the day, when everything is all said and done and we've packed up and going home, it's knowing that you put on a good quality event for the community.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we look forward to all the fun that's to be had at this year's Water Festival. Thank you so much to Commodore Dan Thompson.
All right.
Thank you. The latest in entertainment news brings us more talks of Water Festival news. We'll find out what's in store for the first few days at the festival in this edition of the Out and About Report.
Well, thanks a lot. Well, it's that time again. The 58th annual Beaufort Water Festival opens this weekend, and we're devoting the whole Out and About segment to the favorite long-running Lowcountry tradition. We're going to start off with the Waterfront Park for opening night on Friday, where the Paris Island Marine Band will kick things off with their unique blend of patriotism, impeccable musicianship, and just plain old fun. A fantastic fireworks show over the Beaufort River wraps up the first night festivities. The ceremony starts at 7 p.m. with the gates opening at 6 on Friday. Now Saturday they've got raft races, a badminton tournament, children's toad fishing, always popular, and the festival's exciting new addition, dragon boat racing. This is going to be one of the festival highlights. You don't want to miss this spectacle on the Beaufort River. And Saturday night is the concert in the park featuring country music star Chris Cagle. Cagle's recorded a string of hits. He's released a new album last year, Back in the Saddle, that's been burning up the country charts. You don't want to miss him. Regional favorites, the Chuck Courtney Band, open the night. Gates open at 7. The show starts at 8. Now Sunday is for the kids with Children's Day in the park. Runs from 11 to 3. The Teen Dance is that night. Children's Day has live entertainment, rides, games, and prizes galore. The Teen Dance features the musical stylings of DJ Jeff, and you must be between the ages of 13 and 17 to enter. The gates open at 6. No one else is allowed in after 8 o'clock. Now, everybody loves Motown Monday, and you just can't go wrong with D's Guys. The Hilton Head favorites put on one of the most entertaining, high-energy shows around, with a repertoire ranging from Motown to R&B to pop, rock, reggae, and beyond. The gates open at 7 p.m. for an 8 o'clock show. And that should get you through the first few days of the festival. We'll have more, much more, in next week's report. Now keep in mind that along with all this great nighttime entertainment, there are croquet tournaments, arts and crafts, and much, much more going on every day throughout the festival. For a complete schedule of the entire week, visit bftwaterfestival.com. Better yet, pick up a new copy of Lowcountry Weekly, where you'll find this year's official Water Festival guide inserted. It's full of all the great information, band profiles, interviews with the Commodore and festival staff, and just a whole lot more. And that is what's out and about. Back to you.
After the break, we get an exclusive interview with U.S. Representative Mark Sanford, and Councilman Joe Lee brings us our Port Royal report, so stick around.
For over 50 years, Graco has been dedicated to our customers and making them feel at home.
We have a huge selection of home decor, including lamps, lighting, and accessories.
And a garden center with only the highest quality plants. Our in-house designer will make your home more comfortable and inviting. We have something for everyone in our 50,000 square foot store. We're Beaufort source for Benjamin Moore paint, fishing supplies, Yeti coolers, Columbia sportswear, beach supplies, Weber grills, and steel power equipment. Graco, home improvement is our business, and Lowcountry living is our style.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Councilman Joe Lee joins us with our Port Royal report. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you, Jessa. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for joining us. And now it is Water Festival season, so I want to know, how is Port Royal planning for this very popular event?
Well, we're excited. 58th Annual Water Festival, and Port Royal, the town of Port Royal is one of the sponsors, and so we're preparing to make people feel welcome and they can come visit Port Royal during their stay here for the Water Festival.
Absolutely. And what do visitors need to know about getting to Port Royal when they're coming from Beaufort?
Well, since it's a water festival, we certainly want to encourage people to come by water. So depending on what the tide's doing, it's either upstream or downstream from Beaufort. So you can boat down to the public boat landing in Port Royal, or if you're in your car, you can drive down Rebo Road, and we're right at Rebo and Paris Avenue.
All right, sounds good. And when we arrive, what activities can visitors experience in Port Royal?
Well, our merchants are willing and ready and able to serve anybody that has a chance to come down and visit. We have lots of shops and restaurants, but you can also relax in our rookery and cypress wetlands, see some birds, and if you'd like, go to the sands and drive your car up on the beach and watch the dolphins. Or go to our boardwalk and walk along Battery Creek and see Paris Island, see where we make marines.
All right, lots of beautiful settings. And now I just want to switch gears with you really quick. The annual meeting of the Municipal Association of South Carolina is this week. So what can you tell us about this?
Yes, it's a great time. It's a collection of all the municipal elected officials from the state of South Carolina. And we are gathering in Greenville. And what we'll do is exchange ideas with other communities about how they serve their residents, both from a way to raise more money and also more efficient ways to spend the money.
Absolutely. All right, Joe. Great Port Royal report. We look forward to seeing you out at the Water Festival. Thank you so much for joining us.
We certainly will be there, Jessa. Thank you.
U.S. Representative Mark Sanford has been in Congress just under 2 months now. WHHI's own Jenny Lockhart caught up with him to get his perspective on the transition from South Carolina back to D.C.
Hi, I'm Jenny Lockhart with the WHHI News Exclusive. Joining me today is Congressman Mark Sanford. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So the Farm Bill has been in the news. Did the second vote after the first one failed. So could you give us some information about your take on that?
My take was that, I voted against it. I think that at the end of the day was where most taxpayers would be here along the coast. It's not to say that Republicans didn't try hard to get it right, and a lot of people didn't work hard, but if you look at the bill, I wouldn't want to take a bet against commodity prices when farmers are the ones making the bet, which is in essence the way this bill went down. So the bill originally came to the House, combined welfare and basically farming, which has been the case for a long time. It failed, came back with just pure farming or crop subsidies, and they basically took a direct payment system, which is what we've historically had, and replaced it with an insurance system. That sounds good. Mm-hmm. The problem is, if you look at where commodities are globally, they're hovering around all-time highs, and the insurance system is based on those prices staying there. I think that's a bad bet, because when commodity prices eventually fall, the taxpayer is going to be left holding the bag. So I think at the end of the day, it was a step in the way toward reform, but at the end of the day, it's going to have a big big price tag, if you will, for the taxpayer, and as a consequence, voted against it.
Okay. Now, the Obama administration has voted to delay a portion of the Obamacare. Can you let us know about your stance on that?
I think it's primarily politically driven. I don't think it's policy driven. I think, the administration's reading the tea leaves. They're seeing a lot of blowback in a political sense, and they're saying if we continue to advance on this, it's going to really cost us in the midterm congressional elections, and therefore I'm going to basically defer. I would agree with the idea of deferring, but I don't think I'd agree with the idea of where the administration's coming in deferring, which is still to advance the overall package, which I think has harmful effect in terms of the Hippocratic Oath and the medical system that we have in this country. And I think it has equally, if not greater, harmful effect with regard to job creation and, again, taxpayer consequence. So I think that that's one of those bills that's going to continue to ruminate, if you will, and rumble throughout the Congress as different proposals are out there, frankly, for paring it back.
Sure. Now, we were talking before about immigration reform. Could you give us some information about your stance on that?
I think it's a really sort of white-hot issue in political sense. You hear from both folks, both perspectives. People have very strong viewpoints. The Senate passed its bill. But it spends additional billions upon billions upon billions on, quote, border security with no real trigger as to whether or not we've gotten to the point of border security. And I think what a lot of conservatives are alarmed about, and I would put myself in this camp, is wait a minute, we tried this before, putting amnesty before enforcement. The last big immigration bill in this country was in 1986, and basically we gave amnesty to 3 million illegal workers and said we'll have enforcement that will follow. Here we are years later, the enforcement never came, but the workers are. And so I don't think if we get the combination wrong, we're going to end up with a different result. So I think we've got a real problem with regard to where a lot of folks are focused on what we're going to have or not have with regard to enforcement.
Sure. Now, you're back in D.C. We were just talking about that. How's the transition been?
It's quite a change. You walk up the steps and there are guys up there with machine guns. That was never the case before. But it's a remarkably human institution, and it's a treat to be, getting to reacquaint with old friends and make some new ones up there.
Well, good. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
And I'm Jenny Lockhart. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. Join us next time for your Beaufort News.